Welcome to Cooking with Andrea. Today we are going to be brining our own beef brisket for corned beef brisket. I couldn't find a corned beef in town, one the size that I wanted, which was 5-pounder, and that didn't cost a lot of money. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to go over to Cash and Carry. I'm going to get a big old brisket. I'm going to cut them up myself so I can do different things because I was out of beef brisket anyways. So we're going to get started with the brine. Okay, so I have 1 cup of kosher salt here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a half a cup of pickling spice. Try to do everything the same measurements on certain things. Then we're going to do 1 cup, excuse me, pickling spice got me. And we're going to do a half cup of brown sugar. So those two are even. Wow, that was funny. We're going to do 1/4 cup of mustard. And we're going to do 1/4 cup of peppercorn. And we're going to get this all mixed together. What we're going to do is we're going to add this to our 1 quart of, or 4 quarts of 1 gallon of water. And what we're going to do is dissolve everything, and then we're going to let it come to room temperature, and then that's when we're going to drop our meat in. But I'm just going to go ahead and get this started so you guys could take and see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go hot pot. We're going to take our 1 gallon of water. We're going to pour it in. And we're going to try not to make a mess like I'm doing. Not too bad. A little water never hurt nothing. Okay. And what we're going to do is drop our garlic in right away. I have 4 cloves of garlic, 4 large cloves of garlic. And like I said, my pickling spice got me. Just get my brown sugar just a little bit more mashed up. Because we don't have to bring my brine to a boil or anything. We just have to dissolve everything. So what we're going to do is just dump it in. And we're going to just start whisking. And then after, like I said, we get this all nice and dissolved, we'll cool it to room temperature. And then what we're going to do is pour it back into our bucket here. And then what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and put the meat in here. So I have 5 pounds of beef brisket here. I took the best cut. My problem with finding a corned beef this year was I could not find any with any kind of fat on it whatsoever. In my opinion, when you're making corned beef and cabbage, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm kind of going ahead and start my own little thing here where, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. So I wanted to give some ideas. Not only that, we were starving for corned beef. Usually we'll make huge amount of corned beef, and then what we do is we vacuum seal it. We eat what we want that night, and we vacuum seal it, and then we keep it for other meals. Like you'll see when I go to make this one, you're going to see how I go ahead and today we do the brine. We do it for 5 to 7 days. We'll do it 7 days. Then we'll come back. We'll take it out of its brine, and then we're going to crock pot it. And then after we crock pot it, we'll put it in the fridge that night. And then the next day we'll come back and we'll actually make the corned beef and cabbage. Because I like when my corned beef is cold, so I could go ahead and cube it perfectly or slice it in big chunks so we can have sliced corned beef. Another thing is today, after I get my brine done, we're going to be making corned beef tacos. This is so good. We're going to do a can of corned beef tacos with corn tortillas. Then after we do our corned beef and cabbage, the leftover corned beef we have, we're going to do a fresh corned beef taco with a flour tortilla. So they're going to be different. One's going to be corn, one's going to be flour, but I got these great ideas in my head. So we're just letting all this dissolve, which is great. Just wanted to show you my meat. We have a beautiful piece of meat. Just gonna let this sit there for a minute, give it a stir one more time, and then what we're gonna do is drop our heat. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned it. It was in this bag here, and so I went ahead and we washed our corned beef. We normally wash it a couple times. When we take the briskets and we buy big old briskets, and then we portion them and we vacuum seal them, but we try to clean our meat before we put it in and so forth. So what I'm going to do here is I just wanted to let you see that. And so this is a 5-pounder. And it's got some fat. It's delicious. It's going to be delicious. That's what you want corned beef when you're making corned beef and cabbage. You want a little bit of fat. Okay, everything is dissolved. It's really that fast. Okay, everything smells delicious. So guess what? We're done. We're going to go ahead and turn it off. I'm going to take it off and just set it on my stove. And then I'm just going to push this back. And then what we'll do is let that go to room temperature, and we'll come back and we'll drop our meat in and our liquid together. Okay, brine has totally cooled down. It smells delicious. So fragrant. Smells like corned beef to me. So we got our nice piece of meat, and I'm just going to put it in gently though, so I don't plop this juice all over. Now what I want to do is just submerge it, and I may have to put a little plate in there, I may not, and if so, I have something I can put in there, but that's how it's going to look. It's all nice and submerged, so we're good. It did what it was supposed to do. Every once in a while it'll pop up. So, okay, this is going to go for 5 to 7 days. Actually, we're going to do it for 7 days. We'll be back next week. This time we'll be taking it out, and then we'll go ahead and put it in the crock pot and cook it. And this will be our corned beef and cabbage soup for dinner. And then we're also going to make corned beef tacos, and it's going to be my play on a Irish Mex instead of Irish mix. So we've got 2 meals we're going to prepare out of this, but we'll see you next week. Okay, welcome back. I'm excited. 7 days later. And here is our brined corned beef. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the corned beef out. Oh my gosh, it smells so delicious. Okay, this is what it looks like. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is flip it this way and put the fat side down. There's fat on both sides, but more on the other side. So, oh, the pickling brine smells good. This is what it looks like. This is our corned beef. Woohoo! So what I'm going to do is I am going to put some water in now, because now what we're going to do is crock pot. But I want to point out a couple things. So first of all, when I started this video, this was actually my first video. I mentioned I was going to make a can of corned beef tacos because I wanted to put the scenario in order because this was going to take 7 days. I would never have said it that way if we could find already ready corned beef, but we had to make our own corned beef, so we brined it, and this makes it a corned beef. So basically we made our can of corned beef tacos last week. We're going to make our corned beef and cabbage this week, and then the third week what we're going to do is make fresh corned beef tacos, and it'll be a little bit different. That's where I got my twist on a Irish Mex instead of an Irish mix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 cups of water, and I'm going to put it in here because I'm going to crock pot. I love my crock pot. Man, my crock pot is just amazing. It makes food so much easier to cook, so much better. I am going to take 1 tablespoon of ground pickling seasoning. 1 tablespoon. And I'm going to put it in on the sides because I don't want it directly on my my corned beef. I want my corned beef to sweat. Smells great. This is all the seasoning I need right now. Because, you know, after we get done cooking our beautiful corned beef, I'm going to have to discard the liquid except for 1 cup, then make my new broth for my corned beef. Okay, so by not using pickling spice, or I'm sorry, by not using curing salt, my corned beef is more gray than it is pink. But that's, if you want to use it, you use it. If you can't find it, it should not hurt our meat. But let me tell you something, we'll know in 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours. I've got 5 pounds, so I'm gonna go ahead and put mine on for 10 hours. I'll check it myself. So we're gonna get started with our fresh corned beef, and we'll be back. Welcome back. 8 days later, we have corned beef. Yum, look at this. The corned beef came out fantastic. I'm gonna try a piece cold. It's been in the refrigerator for a day. So delicious, so tender. It took a good 10 hours to cook. But it came out fantastic. I cubed it up real fast. There's some shredded. And then the rest of my corned beef is right here. I have enough for a whole other dinner. Probably I have enough for tacos and another dinner, like some hash or something. I didn't get very much fat off of it, but I did get a little bit. I shouldn't have taken such a big bite, but it was delicious. Okay, so we brined our corned beef. It took 7 days to brine. Then we took it out, we put it in our crock pot, and it cooked 10 hours, and now we're done. So today, this is what we're going to be having for dinner. The reason we did it ourselves is I couldn't find a corned beef that I liked that wasn't $29. I'm like, no, I'm not spending $29 for corned beef and just getting barely 2 pounds of meat. That's crazy. So we decided to go get a beef brisket at our local big cash and carry. And we took the big beef brisket and we cut it into 4 parts. And this is my corned beef. We took pickling spice, and I'll label all that in the description for you. But let me tell you something. We did not use curing salt, so mine is a little lighter pink than what corned beef normally is. If we would have used the curing salt, it would have been way pinker. But let me tell you something, because we were able to put our own pickling seasoning in, my corned beef is so flavorful right now that it is just delicious. If you were to cut this up and make a sandwich, it'd be absolutely awesome. Our corned beef and cabbage is going to be awesome. And then this is also the corned beef. I told you guys I was going to do a trio. Canned corned beef tacos, corned beef and cabbage, and a fresh corned beef taco. This taco will be different than the other. I'll be using flour tortilla instead of corn tortilla. I'll be using cabbage instead of lettuce. A whole lot of fun things going on, but I wanted to let you guys know, see, we can make way more meals out of 1 piece of meat than we even realize sometimes. So we're going to get started. I have everything on right now. I'm going to boil cabbage here. I'm going to boil potatoes and carrots here. And this is going to be my soup base. With corned beef, I always dump my, whatever I cook my corned beef in, I did crock pot my corned beef though, but I still use the same concept of half the water versus a whole thing of water. But this is going to be my beautiful corned beef broth. So we're going to get started right now. Oh, and the reason I don't use corned beef, and sometimes I will use 1 cup, is because corned beef is fatty. And so it tends to make your soup greasy, and I don't want greasy soup. So what I'm going to do is, this was just plain water. I did 16 cups. You can do broth yourself, but I actually do water and add my own beef broth. I use Norr. It's got a good beef flavor, and then it also has a good salt content. Woo! I just tried that, but in all the water you really don't taste the salt. It just gives you enough flavor. So I have 3 tablespoons, and then I have 1 teaspoon of ground picklings. Tablespoon. I have 1 tablespoon of ground pickling seasoning. I always grind my pickling seasoning and put it in with my corned beef when I'm cooking. And I have 3 bay leaves. So I'm just going to go ahead and push it all in. Get all those seasons. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it whisked right in. And make sure I'm high. Yep, I'm on 460, so I'm good. Kind of short standing over my counter here. But I'm going to mix in my seasoning. And then as soon as it comes to a boil, everything's going to incorporate. We're going to let that boil So the amount of liquid, like I said, I put 16 cups of liquid in, is going to go down to probably 14 cups after everything, starts to cook. So I'm going to put my meat right over here. So I'm super excited. I get like 3 dishes out of this one corned beef. I have 8 potatoes, russets, and I cubed them all up. I'm going to go ahead and give them another rinse. I've washed them or rinsed them twice already because I wanted to get as much starch out of them as possible. So I'm going to go do it again. Okay, now I'm going to put them in my water. I'm not going to put any salt or anything. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my corned beef real fast. In a minute, I'll add my carrots as soon as my potatoes start going. But potatoes will take longer to cook than carrots will. Boy, I'm a little messy there. Sprinkling water all over it. I want to put my little cooktop right here in front of you, so it's all flavored. 1 tablespoon of the pickling seasoning. You can smell it. It smells good along with the beef broth. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give my cabbage a cut. We love corned beef and cabbage in our house. Yum. What a good soup to have tonight. What a good soup. So what I'm going to do is I'd never actually boil my cabbage with my other veggies. I always do it separately. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1 more cut this way and this way. And then what I'm going to do is go rinse again my cabbage. But I always rinse my veggies because like we love growing our own cabbage and stuff. So I'm so excited. Grow time will be coming in a couple of months. I'm excited. We'll have our own lettuce, our own cabbage, tomatoes, chilies. We'll have all that stuff. So I'm excited. Okay, so we gave a fast rinse again. And I'm going to put it in. And I'm just going to let it start to boil. I'm not going to put anything in. Like I said, I'm already using broth. So to me, broth has enough seasoning and salt. Don't really want to add more salt to any of my dish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, put my wonderful corned beef in the fridge because I'm going to go ahead and vacuum seal some of it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make those fresh corned beef tacos next week. So I'll vacuum seal everything, but in 2 different portions so that we have fresh tacos for next week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let the cabbage boil, potatoes boil, and start making some flavor here with my seasonings for my soup. As soon as the potatoes and carrots are done, we're going to come back and assemble the soup and have a bite. Okay, welcome back. Everything's done. Look at the water or the broth that's boiling. The water. That's not very good. It's not very appealing to say the water. It's the broth. Okay, we're going to try some. Boy, I tell everybody, my husband had a good idea to grind the pickling spice because it sure makes the flavor of corned beef. Fantastic. It's got salt to it. It feels like I just boiled all this beautiful corned beef in it right this minute. So I'm going to take my corned beef, I'm going to put it all in my water. Or no, I'm going to put half in my water. And then what I'm going to do is layer it. I want to take some potatoes and carrots because I always overcook potatoes and carrots because I love potatoes. I'm bad. So I will use the potatoes like no tomorrow. Oh, I'm just hurting stuff on myself here. But I don't want to have too much in my corned beef and cabbage soup. So it's kind of cool. Last week I was watching Carter's Inc. and Mr. Arthur was making a corned beef, him and his beautiful wife, Lisa. But he was making it. And I says, oh my gosh, I'm going to be making corned beef. I'm going to brine mine. And what caught my eye was I could not find a corned beef in town that I really liked. I was being picky pants here. And I was like, they found a good corned beef, but we couldn't find one here. And I just still don't see a real good one here in town this week when I went to the grocery store. Although I did go to Costco and they had plenty of corned beefs, but I already started brining my own. So I was like, oh, I don't need a corned beef. But I thought that was funny. They were making one and I was like, they were able to find theirs. I couldn't find mine. So I told them, oh my goodness, great minds are thinking alike. You guys are making corned beef. I'm making corned beef. He's like, well, let me see it. Well, this is my corned beef and cabbage, Carter's, and I made it, brined it myself, me and my hubby, and we are good to go. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I can't feel it anymore. If I feel it anymore, I'm going to be in big trouble. So I'm going to drop my heat. Didn't need all this food. I got a whole pot of food. But we are eating it for dinner tonight. This is our corned beef and cabbage dinner. We love corned beef and cabbage, and we're going to have some bread. Yum. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some out of here. Oh, there's lots of beautiful cabbage in here, too. I got to move it around a little bit, though. I'm going to pick and grab what I want from the pot here. Need some potatoes, though. I'm not going to tell a lie. I like some meat, too. I'm one of those that is really particular when I'm dishing out food. Everybody has to have a little bit of something. You know, I like when everything's nice and even. And after you let it sit for a minute, everything, the carrots and everything will come floating to the top. But I just want everybody to see this is absolutely beautiful. Actually, it's really a good dish. Let me grab my first. Oh, you know what? I know I need pepper. I don't need any salt. I have plenty of salt. But we need some pepper in here. I'll let everybody pepper their own. But me and my potatoes need pepper. It's hot. So good. Fantastic, but hot. Good Lord. Really hot. Be careful. Let's get some of that cabbage and meat. The corned beef is so good. I'm so proud of me and hubby. We did it. And we wanted to try. We didn't know if it was going to come out or if it wasn't going to come out. It came out fine. Fantastic. Needs a little bit more juice. Absolutely fantastic. Well, this was my corned beef brining experience. If you like the content, if you would please like, subscribe, and share, I'd be most grateful. If I can do it, anybody can brine their own corned beef and make their corned beef for even a cheaper price than what we would have paid for it if we would have just specifically bought a corned beef. Thank you all very much and have a very blessed week.